The anthem. This is our party anthem. Vote them out, Mr. DJ. Just as how you vote them in, vote them out. Give yourself a round of applause. Bacchanal time start. They have so much to say. First, when we were coming here yesterday, somebody sent me a message and told me, I have everything written on my hand. I can't read it now. Somebody sent me a message telling me about this guy who got shot in Tunapuna. I don't want to start off on a downer, but it's insane that he died. We don't know his name. We don't have the details. But we've gotten so desensitized to murder that it's now on the periphery of what is important. That's madness. We have to we have to cherish human life in this country again. We have to bring that back into the conversation. There is no murder that is normal. And I think if ever we had a reason to come together as a people and vote these two failed organizations out, is where we've arrived, where human life and murder is concerned. Yeah? So I just wanted to make a note of that. Coming here, I spoke to a guy, I'm sure he's homeless. I asked him to come and sit with us. He said he's cool listening from afar. This is a country Robert walked with. That's the Auditor General's report?
No, draft estimate.
Robert Amar is the only person I know who would have the draft estimate, expenditure, and the Auditor General report. And he's go through them, line by line. And that's why I asked Robert to come. And I wanted to remind him something, because I was watching him speaking. And in 2015, we were going up, I went up as an independent, as Philip said. And I called Robert and said, Robert, I need a podium. He said, go in the office, see if you find one. Robert, you know this podium? Robert Amar donated this podium to the Progressive Empowerment Party. I'd like to tell you thanks. You didn't remember? And you spoke on it tonight. How funny life is. Rudy Paul, our first speaker, Rudy Paul is a serial contributor on a very high level. The man is a critical thinker. And I know ministers in governments that hate him. Because when you hear say, miss me with that, he may not have been using those words, but Rudy Paul has been telling governments for years, miss me with that. Where Rudy? Give Rudy a round of applause there. We're launching a newsletter, the Pepper Sauce, SOURCE. And I told Rudy he had to be a serial contributor to that, so he knows, right? Philip Franco. Philip Franco is a guy that will not let it go. That politics in this country doesn't translate to governance. And when he sits in a meeting, in a political party, he's not there for position or place or pips. He's there to see and to hear what you are saying, and he's there to add his voice. I've sat alongside him in the Congress of the People, and I've seen what he's done, and I've heard his message over and over, and I've read some of his manifesto. And while some of it is a little bit radical, he don't want no government at all. I understand that. No party. Following some of his writings led me to discover there is something that is practiced in countries that we don't hear about on the news because they work. There are 183 countries in the world. You don't hear about all of them because some of them work and they don't make news. And in some of those countries, there's something called direct democracy. And direct democracy means that what some of the things he's talking about is not so far out. That on critical issues, the value of your money, who is your ultimate court of appeal, decriminalizing drugs, the issue with same-sex marriages, all of those types of things go to direct democracy. The Progressive Empowerment Party, we advocate for referendum, which is a step in that direction. But Philip Franco, I'd like to thank you for joining us tonight and for your contribution. Robert Amaro. Robert Amaro, I would like to thank you for coming here. I hope that you come to Point Fortin. I hope you come to... When we're thanking Vanessa and her team and Usha and the rest of them, is because this party is punching way above its weight class. This party has political meetings planned for the next 2-3 months. Every Saturday, every other Saturday, we meet at 19 Stanmore Avenue at noon. Unless we have a public meeting. But the Progressive Empowerment Party, to be a member of it means kiss your Saturdays goodbye. Because we're either meeting at noon in 19 Stanmore Avenue with all the members, or we're having a public meeting like this. This podium has been to San Fernando twice. It's been to Chaguanas West. It's been to Barrackpore. It's been to Santa Cruz. It's been to Port of Spain. Now it's in Tunapuna. It's going Point Fortin. Then it's going Diego Martin. And I think we're going Labre or Princestown after. So we put some miles on your podium, Robert. We put some miles on it. Mamaral. Oh yeah, Mamaral. Oh God, how do I get a helicopter for that one? Our PRO, Anthony Defoe. I would listen to him. I hope he gets his platform. In fact, we are working so hard to get the live video I do at nights. We call it Pep Talks, but we don't name it or brand it yet because we're working really hard to get it to be, we're trying to set up a studio and we're trying to make it something that others could come. So it's not just me doing live videos. Others could come and do live videos too, so that the channel would be full of information coming from many contributors. And I hope Tony gets to take advantage of that. Because as our public relations officer, he's second to none. The man makes serious sense. And we are honored to have him. I don't think we've ever given him a round of applause before. So I'd like to ask for one for him tonight. Diana is our newest serial contributor on the podium. So I see her shaking a little bit when she contributed. But she's a powerhouse. And I told her when she said about him, she's a powerhouse and she's nervous, but you could hear. And I was listening so attentively to that Imagine, where she was taking us with this. Because that's how we have to go anywhere. We have to imagine a better nation. And then ask ourselves, how do we get there? Thank you for that, Diana. Thank you for that. And I told her that Felicia and Sarah, who only in January joined with us, because it's January this party formed, we're 7 months older. It's looking like we're here 100 years, because, and I'm going to tell you why now, because we really seriously impacting on the national conversation. We've changed the narrative. But I remember Felicia in Stanmore Avenue at her first meeting, shaking on this podium. I remember Sarah. Sarah had notes that had notes. Remember? Sarah had notes that had notes. And she was referring, and look at her now. 2 powerhouses. By the time we get into a real election campaign, because we are on an election footing now, this turnout here, no political party, none ever, pulls out a crowd like this outside of an election season without putting $300 in a jersey somewhere. Give yourselves a round of applause, because this is how civic-mindedness works. Robert said, Robert and I talk in politics about 20 years now. 20 years. We argue like cat and dog sometimes. Disagree. And don't disagree normal, you know. Robert will stalk me till I admit, all right, you was right. You feel like that? He's worked with his paperwork, as you could see. But it's Robert that puts information in the public space that they cannot ignore. And we need to get to be a nation where people like Robert Amar is respected for making that effort. All of us like the same basic things. All of us want to enjoy life. We want comfort. And when we have spare time, we want to use it to enjoy ourselves. When a team like Giselle and Lima and Karen and Dilwood, I mean, this party have so many people now. There are so many teams. There are teams that have teams, and I don't know the people we organize in a meeting, so we can at least get to know each other. It's literally called getting to know you. And we're having a meeting soon, huh? But when people put aside their family life, Giselle is here with her kids, Lima comes with hers. The children now know us, like they part of the party. And you're putting aside, it's a Saturday night. Those are young mothers. They could be home with their families. They could be out in movie town, something. And they're here. And everybody who is part of that movement. There are days that I swear to you, there are days that I wake up spent. I mean, people tell me all the time, you don't sleep, because we're talking 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and then we're talking 6 o'clock in the morning. It really feels like you don't sleep. We've gotten to here in 7 months because we didn't sign on for this to pelt a stone. They've all said it. And we've said it continuously. We don't have to win office, you know. We just have to wake the people up. And the people are waking up. And plenty politicians here miss me with that now. So much so, one of our members, Suzette Loa, wake up everybody with this super fast Galatian, the Cabo Flower, Cabo Star, whatever. I find these boats named like it sound like a massage parlor in Thailand. You know, like, I don't know where they get these boats from. A man tell me the boat nearly sink. Check and see if Coleman but have shares. There's 2 for 2 he bought in. Remember the so? No, but Sue was the wife. Nobody bring a boat that sink. I'm not going down there with you now, really, Paul. I'm not going down there with you at all. I would also like to say, because we give the media a lot of licks, and there's a member from, I think, Newsday here with us tonight, and I'd like to say good evening to you, sir, and thank you for coming to cover our meeting. At the end of the day, we have a responsibility. Right. So what I wrote on my hand, because everybody touch on all kind of race. So I want to say, on behalf of the half of 1% that I am, because people ask me, what are you? And we all get to talk, you know. We real mix up. We real mix up, and at the end of the day, when I look around at what comes together in this meeting, I wonder, and I don't think this wrong, but if you are in the PNM and you're not African, or you're in the UNC and you're not Indian, you must feel like you're out of place. In this party, I saw even Venusians and Martians could come and fit in here and feel comfortable. Because everybody, we really have this idea of one people under one flag, and it works, and it's working. And here we have some pilau to eat tonight. 2 weeks ago, we was eating curry duck. That is how Trinidad and Tobago is. I love this country for that. I love, love, love this country for that. Right, the Orange Revolution. Get accustomed to that too. There's been an Orange Revolution in history, and you can read up about that. But our Orange Revolution is a revolution of the people, and it empowers the people. And for us, a win does not necessarily mean we form the government. But a win for us means that you could no longer come and campaign in people community and sell them foolishness. I can't use the words I want to use because the children are here. So I will use sanitized language. But you can't come with nonsense, and you can't come with foolishness like when she said election after election she asking for this same stupid street light. That upset me. Because Robert asked, what's the money being, what is it being spent on? The Progressive Empowerment Party wants to abolish the local government. We want a constituency board of supervisors. So she would have a supervisor of public utilities to go to and say, you're an employee, fix my street light. And that's where we need to go. We need to go to a place where accountability is straightforward. From central government, from the Chancellor of the Exchequer. And I hope and I pray, if we get an opportunity to serve in government, that Robert Amar will come on board. Because I would like to get Robert Amar to sit in a department of oversight that checks every check that we sign off on. Because if we pass muster with him, we have no corruption. Robert don't miss a note. And we propose things like that, radical changes, because we use the term undo and redo. Lekoto Jambi borrowed the term when he was talking about the Commissioner of Police. You hear KPMG, an accounting firm, just get the job to find us a Commissioner of Police. Now, I mean, that is so wrong. It is so foolish. It is insanely nonsensical. And I'll tell you why. Because when Kamla Prasad Bisesa met with Keith Rowley, they spoke on behalf of the entire power vested in government by the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. And in that conversation, they had the power to agree. Because it is not rocket science. It is not. It is not rocket science to come up with a plan as to how you appoint a commissioner of police. Other countries do it. There are 183 other countries or 186 other countries in the world. They have commissioners of police too. We could call somebody on the phone. How are you as a point Hollywood? We having a problem. Oh gosh, man. KPMG get the contract. Everything in this country. You know? I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ludicrous. We hear things. We say, nah, they can't be so mad. But they're so mad. They're so mad, government after government, time after time. And the problem is, they're so brazen and they're so bold and they have so few systems. They have only so many tires you can burn that you think, you know what? Fire truck it. And everybody lives like that. Everybody lives like that. We live like a nation in an abusive relationship. Oh God, today he ain't beating me bad. I'm going to take today. I'm going to live it today. No, we live like that. We live like a people in an abusive relationship. You never know what next coming. And you're just careful. You're just bracing. Because, no, I'm not trying to laugh. It's not a funny thing. And it's not trying to make sport or light of people who are in really abusive relationships. Just to use it as an analogy because we're running out of ways to say. Government has a role and a responsibility, all of them. When you hear the prison service is to hold and treat. The police service is to protect and serve. Be mobile is to hang up and call back. It's, everybody have a thing. Everybody have something. And the government job is supposed to be to serve the people. The Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago is very clear. And every office that it speaks into existence gets its own law. We have the Representation of the People's Act. We have so much law. We have no enforcement. And we have a situation in the country where the police service is laid out according to a map. And then the regional health authorities are laid out according to a next map. And the local government is a next map again. And then they have the 41 constituencies as a further map. And none of those 4 maps line up. Deliberately bad. You have no chain of communication. So you will never be able to know. We had the situation under the UNC People's Partnership where you had a Minister of Works, a Minister of Rivers and Water Courses and a local government, and nobody knew who responsibility was to actually clean the river. Now you tell me if that is not total madness. 3 whole departments getting paid and nobody know who work it is. You know they have a joke? Somebody, nobody and everybody. Actually that. Everybody thinks somebody will do it, so nobody do it. That should have. Anyway, let me get through what's on my hand, because I want to get down to this quick. One of our sayings, we don't use it on the platform, but we say it in our meetings. Reasonable people accept things as they are. Unreasonable people change the world. The Progressive Empowerment Party plans to be very unreasonable. We want to change this country. We are unreasonable. We do not accept. We do not like it so. We're not jamming still. This is not good enough, and we want to change it. 1.3 million strong. Robert will tell you, we've talked this before, we've done 55 census, and for some reason, we never changed that number. 1.3 million. Storm beating in the Gulf, sea slight to moderate, waves up to 2.5 meters in open water. Some things don't change. Some things don't change. Some things just don't change, right? You all know it by heart. But my swear, I don't know what I write on my hand, you know. The things I want to touch on quickly, because I don't want to take up your time. We ran a little late tonight, and we have the open mic session. We started this movement first and foremost to deal with an issue. It started focused on an issue. It started focused on the issue of the failure of the ambulance service. The failure, the complete failure. And we've been fighting, I've been fighting it for years. I fought it with Fuad Khan and Fuad Khan and now Terence Dial Singh, and I'm fighting this to the point where Global Medical Response is suing me to silence me. They call what I am doing defamation, but we're going to deal with that in court. But the reality of the situation is too many of our people have died waiting on an ambulance, and that is unacceptable. And when we didn't know if this party had legs, if we were really influencing the conversation, three things happened in a week that made me realize that we've indelibly made a mark. When there was the SEA exam, we put out a release that the SEA is child abuse. This cannot continue. You cannot tell 20,000 children between 10 and 11 years old that the rest of their lives is contingent on what they do on that piece of paper on that day. That is insanity. And then the Archbishop agreed. So when we said that Global Medical Response is not doing a proper job and that contract should be cancelled, the Emergency Services Union last week agreed. And then last week I put into the public space, because everybody talking about the middle class dying and the middle class dying. Robert and I was talking about it. And I said that the middle class is dying because you need credit from a bank in the economy to have a middle class, and the banks, because I ended up in a conversation with a chap, and he's a senior lending officer in an international bank based in Trinidad. He said, they won't say this, but the bank's policy is we only lend in cash for cash. So if you need $100, you have to have $100. And you have to give them your $100. And they're not giving you no interest on your $100. They give you half of 1%. And then they will give you what they consider their $100. And they will charge you 16% interest for that. And that's the only way that you get in credit if you don't need it. And I asked, why is this so? And he said, banks no longer pay interest on your money. So that operating expense, because how banking started off was that banks would take your money and pay you an interest on your money. 3 to 6% for a short term, 6 to 9% for a medium term, 9, 10, 12, depending on how long the term is. We started to call things certified deposits and that kind of stuff. Hold my money for 10 years, give me 10% a year, that kind of bacchanal. All that dead. All that dead. You're not getting no interest on your money at all. In fact, instead of them paying you interest, they're charging you money for the service. For the privilege of holding your money, I'm going to charge you. You want to write a check? No problem, $25. I went to open my bank account last year and they told me, we have packages now. How much would you like to pay for us to keep your money? And that's what they do, everybody now. So they now make massive profits off of those fees. Plus, they don't have to give you interest on your money. So that has been removed from the conversation. So they could have fired all of their risk people and their loans departments come down to, if you go in a bank now to get a loan, you have to get one of those Sherpa trackers to take you through a winding maze to find somebody in a back office somewhere with dust on the desk. Because nobody ain't really going by loans officers anymore. Nobody getting loans. And they're not giving credit. And without that credit, you cannot get into business. There are a lot of people in the country now that, and I was telling somebody else, they stopped this loans, this credit that was the lifeblood of the middle class for about 10 years. But we didn't notice because the middle class did what the middle class does well. They dealt with it. They managed. They cut their cloth to suit. But then we get calm inverse recession. Because I call it calm inverse recession because if you don't know this, the rest of the world booming, Trinidad in a recession. In countries like Grenada and Guyana that we used to laugh at, their economy is better than us now. We are alone in a recession. And Calm's recession made it, that was the last straw for a lot of middle class people. They couldn't get, they had cut the cloth as fine as they could have cut it before. They have no more cutting to cut. And when we put that out in the public space, people said, wow, because they didn't know and they didn't realize. It woke up people to a conversation. And today, it was sent to me a picture from an Attorney General wannabe, Larry Lala from the UNC, who shared that information as if it's his own idea. Cool, we exposed that. But the point is, if these people don't have a new idea of their own, and if their policies are not working, why would you ever consider voting for the PNM or the UNC again? Why? The Progressive Empowerment Party says it plain. We would bring legislation that regulates the banks again. That will, the arrangement would be for you to get a license as a bank or a financial institution in Trinidad and Tobago. In exchange for the privilege of holding our depositors' funds, you have to pay them interest regulated by central bank. So because you now have to pay them interest and you cannot charge fees, we will abolish those fees. The arrangement we will return to, because you used to make billions of dollars before. It was working then. We will go back to that. And if you don't like it, pack up and leave. We will invite other banks to come in. No problem. Scotia could go. RBC could go. Republic Bank, we own it. First Citizens Bank and Republic Bank will start the drive. And we will invite other banks to come. And we will say, banks have traditionally made money in Trinidad, good times or bad times. So you have the opportunity to come to Trinidad and Tobago and be licensed a financial institution, and you can make money. But this is the term. These are the terms of operation. You must pay interest on the people's money. You can't charge them fees. That means that the bank will have no choice but to lend money to get interest to cover those expenses and make their profit. And that money that they're lending there, that is the credit that drives the market that builds the middle class. And that's the solution. That's the solution. So when Larry Lala shared it today, I asked him, you were in the Senate under the UNC for 5 years, you all didn't notice this? You didn't see? UNC? Huh? Maybe that's why that's the name. I don't know. But you can't jump on we bandwagon now. And when I say steal the ideas, I mean steal it and implement it. Don't steal it and pass it off as your own. That's plagiarizing. That's a different thing. But the truth of the matter, and this is what I want to bring this to a close with. You cannot continue to live in a country where global medical response can continue to have that contract, yet not provide the service that they contracted to provide. That has to change. Real representation would mean it shouldn't be this difficult for us to get that to change. We need to change that. We need to make sure that the middle class is given the support it needs. This is not a class issue, it is a national issue. Without a middle class, the world over, you will see this. Without a middle class, you head straight down a road called anarchy. Without a middle class, you have the desires of a tiny wealthy class and the needs of a massive poor class. And because those two things will never line up, at some point, whoa. And the middle class is that magical bridge to opportunity. It is what allows you to say, I have a partner sitting down in this room tonight, and he just started his own business. He does industrial cleaning and stuff. And if he needed the financing he needed, because he could realize, wait now, I'm doing about $10,000 a month, me and my one machine. So if I hire 20 people and I get 20 more machines, we could do the maths. I don't want to do it like Roger, in case I miss. So the balance, right? The balance. He'll get the balance and he'll be able to secure his own. I'm just saying that because, and everybody, I mean, you're an entrepreneur, Robert is an entrepreneur, Darius, I mean, there are people here, everybody, I don't know all of you and your stories. But think about how your business could grow if you had access to credit. We don't think about it anymore. We're so accustomed, this land of abuse. We don't think that we have a right to walk into a bank and say, listen, if you help me grow this business, we will both make money. They don't hear that. They're risk averse. They don't have to take no risk. No. We need to flip that script. We need to get back to the nation. Tell people, in 2008, I lay down on a couch because I got in a bad accident, broke my arm, and I had no choice for a couple months but to watch TV. And that was the exact time when the United States economy, housing bubble collapsed. And I watched Congress sit almost continuously for a week, and they had one mandate: put credit back in the economy. India now has the largest middle class in the world. There are more middle class people in India than in America, Canada, and Europe combined has a population. 600 million people. Middle class means the economy is bubbling. We have reduced this nation to masters and slaves, and that has to change. That has to change. We have to reclaim our country. That has to change. The two rails of this party that we stand on are hope and opportunity. Everything that we say, that we advocate, that we put forward must give people hope and opportunity. And we believe that if that becomes a reality, all of the things that Diana told you to imagine could happen. And we could find ourselves, like Tony said, in this blessed nation, be the paradise on earth that Trinidad was meant to be. Yes? So thank all of you for joining us tonight. And we are going to be having our open mic session. So thank you very much.